Hi, my name is Matthew Bellisario. Thanks for coming by the Bellisario Sonic YouTube channel, coming here from the heart of the Deep South on the outskirts of Birmingham, Alabama, where we're talking about music, records, doing record reviews, interviews, and more. Have a wonderful release today, brand new, just came out, wonderful jazz album that I'll be reviewing for you guys today. I'm really excited to review the Joe Farnsworth Big Room album on the Smoke Sessions label. So I'm going to play a couple of tracks off of that for you guys. Talk a little bit about Joe, but I did want to share with you a couple of things that I picked up here recently at the Alabama Record Collectors Show, which happens every late summer and is one of the biggest record shows in the Southeast, as far as I'm aware. And so I just wanted to, I thought it'd be fun just to share with you guys a couple of albums that I picked up. I've been looking for this Carmen McRae album called Torchy, which I've been looking for this for a long time. You can never find it in good shape. And the record's got a couple of issues on the front of it, but the record is in wonderful shape. It plays fantastic. And this is just a great late night jazz album. Absolutely wonderful. I picked up the Tete Montelou album called Songs for Love. Incredible pianist that Vladimir Shafronov turned me on to, so thanks to him for that. I found a Ron Carter album called Pick 'em, so I wanted to show you that. That's pretty cool. And I picked up Betty Carter, Round Midnight, another beautiful late night record. Unbelievable vocals on this. Just a wonderful record in brand new shape. And then last but not least, this was one that I was really happy to come across, and that is a pressing of John Coltrane's Expression, which is amazing. It's in great shape. It's a nice gatefold and original pressing on the Impulse label. So I was really happy to find this at a good price. So that is covers my adventures at the record show here, which is in Gardendale, Alabama. So for anybody around this area, there's 2 record shows a year at this particular place. So let's get to it. Joe Farnsworth, The Big Room, one of my favorite jazz drummers. This guy's absolutely wonderful. This is limited 500 copies. 180 gram vinyl, mastered by Christopher Allen and pressed at MPO in France. Liner notes by Sean Brady and photography by Osmil Portuando Ascu. I'm not sure you pronounce his last name. Anyways, you've got a stellar lineup here. You've got Jeremy Pelt on trumpet, wonderful trumpet player. Sarah Hanahan, up and coming alto saxophone player. She's very good. Joel Ross on the vibraphone. The great Emmet Cohen on piano, plays marvelous on here. Yasushi Nakamura on the bass. And of course, Joe Farnsworth on drums. I'm going to play 2 tunes, the first tune off of each side. I'm going to try to keep these a little shorter. I think people enjoy them with a little shorter, but I still want to play the tracks for these off these records for you guys, especially my favorites. So I like the first song called Continuance off of side 1, and I'll play Radical off of side 2 for you guys. Now, if you guys don't know a lot about Joe, I'll just go quickly into a little bit of his bio. Born in 1968 in South Hadley, Massachusetts. Was the youngest of 5 sons. His dad was Roger Farnsworth, who was a well-known music teacher, trumpeter, band leader, and as a kid, he was introduced to jazz by his father. His brothers all are also musicians. John, he plays trombone and saxophone. James, saxophone. Paul and David play drums. His brother played the baritone saxophone, his brother James, with Ray Charles for quite a number of years. But as a teenager, Joe studied with acclaimed Boston-based drummer Alan Dawson, whom Joe credits as having taught him to get his hands together and how to, through rigorous study of rudiments, that opens up possibilities of developing your sound. He's also studied with Arthur Taylor, who, in Joe's words, said, "He taught me how to use that sound to develop the fluency of language and readied me to collaborate with jazz greats like Benny Golson." Of course, Joe has played with everybody. When speaking about lessons, while living for 8 years with the great drummer Jimmy Lovelace, Joe says, "Jimmy showed me how to control the drums." Joe attended South Hadley High School in Massachusetts and then William Patterson College, and then received a a bachelor's in music in 1990. 1990, though, is kind of where it all begins for Joe professionally, where he moves to New York City. He sits in at Augie's, which is now Smoke, Jazz and Supper Club, which is this record label that this is on. There he was mentored by Junior Cook. He recorded his first album called You Leave Me Breathless on the Steeplechase album in 92. But he also then developed relations with George Coleman, Eric Alexander. Of course, he's played with on a lot of Eric's albums, and they've also played in the One for All band. He also played with Jon Hendricks in 91, John Faddis 92, George Coleman, Cecil Payne, Annie Ross, Benny Green. Since 1995, of course, he's been playing with the group One for All, which he co-founded. But he's played with everybody. The list is incredible. He's played on over 400 albums, at least 9 albums as a leader that I count, and tons as a sideman, of course, with Benny Golson, Eric Alexander, Steve Davis, Mike LaDon, Harold Mayburn, Cecil Payne, Pharoah Sanders, and even recorded the album with Pharoah Sanders, played with Cedar Walton, and the list really goes on. It's incredible. So enough talking. Let's go ahead and play a couple of tunes off this record. And so far, the sound quality, I listened to this one time, the sound quality is great. And this comes with an anti-static sleeve, great liner notes on the back, which I love liner notes. And I like when artists take the time to have someone write the liner notes or when they write them themselves. So let's go ahead and pull this out, and I'll give it a wipe off again. And we'll have a listen together as we always do. I appreciate you guys coming and spending time with me and listening to these records and keeping jazz alive, because hopefully coming up I'm going to be having a discussion with Andy Edwards, who keeps making the claim that jazz is dead and there's nothing creative going on in jazz right now, and claims that it kind of died. He comes up with a couple different dates that he says that it died or began to die. Contrary to his opinion, I think jazz is alive and well, both creatively as well as carrying on the tradition, which I believe are two separate ways to carry on the jazz tradition and keep it alive. In other words, I look at it from two different ways. From the new artists that are writing new material and kind of coming up with a lot of creative things and stretching the boundaries of jazz. And I also look at it from this side of things, from kind of the tradition side of things, where people are carrying on the tradition, doing standards or even composing their own, tunes, but doing it kind of more in a straight ahead jazz fashion. And so I love both approaches. And I think jazz is alive and well, as you can see by the reviews that I'm doing on this channel, both creatively and also just by the different types of jazz that are coming out now that are fantastic. So here's your record. Let's put on the tune called Continuance, and let's listen to these guys just jam. All right, 500 of these made. Even though this is more straight ahead jazz, there's a lot of cool things going on here on this record. Emmet's piano playing is smoking on this. Sarah Hanahan on the sax, alto. Hand over here to the right. Pelt on the trumpet. He's more down the middle. On the vibraphone. The tunes on here are written by members of the band. So Sarah Hanahan wrote this one. Joel Ross wrote 2 of them. Jeremy Pelt wrote one. Emmet Cohen wrote one. 2 written by Joe. And then you have I Fall in Love Too Easily, written by Julie Stein and Sammy Kahn. Awesome. So that was pretty smoking. Incredible playing by everybody on there. And again, I like the fact that these are new tunes for the most part, I think, except for one. That one was called Continuance. We're going to listen to one called Radical now. But if you like, I would say that this is more, kind of a post-bop thing going on. but they're beautiful ballads on here as well. What Am I Waiting For? Absolutely beautiful. This is a Joel Ross tune. Definitely got that hard bop, post bop sound to it. A lot of cool things going on. Quiet vinyl, sounds fantastic. The mix sounds really nice. You have panning with the instruments, but it's a very nice warm sound, lively sound. I like the way Joe plays behind him differently depending on who's soloing, and gives it a completely different feel. sound very good. They're very well recorded. There's pretty good resonance off the drums. They sound pretty good. Definitely, it's definitely a live sounding record. It has a nice presence to it. So that was called Radical by Joel Ross. I appreciate you guys joining me. This is a smoking album. Also some very beautiful ballads on here. Very creative. I think that it's wonderful that Joe brought these musicians together and afforded the opportunity for these people to write for the record. And this is really cool. A lot of great compositions. Kind of in that hard bop, post-bop style, a lot of creativity here, but also bringing in a lot of tradition behind it, which I think is really cool. And of course, Joe's mentors are all those legends, so he brings that kind of presence here, but he also allows some of the younger people to come in, like Sarah Hanahan, to come in, and Emmet, just these incredible musicians to come in and join them. And so a really cool album. Hats off to Joe and the whole ensemble, if you will, assembly of musicians. Jeremy Pelt on trumpet, Sarah Hanahan on alto, Joel Ross on the vibraphone, Emmet Cohen piano, Yasushi Nakamura on bass, and Joe on the drums. Fantastic record. Go out and get it. 500 of these on the Smoke label. Quiet vinyl. Sounds fantastic. Thumbs up. We'll see you guys soon. Take care and happy listening.